Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Magically Cruising, the cruise podcast where we share our personal cruise tips and reviews to help you make the most out of your next sailing. My name's Kieran. I'm an independent travel agent specialising in all things cruise, Disney and North America, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I write all things cruise and travel at Mini Travellers and cruise over at MSN.
And today, Sarah, we kind of did hint about it last episode, but we're going to talk about one of my favourite things, and I may have mentioned it once or twice this year, but I've just come back from a Disney cruise. And spoiler alert, I'm kind of annoyed that I enjoyed it as much as I did, which sounds really random, but it really was the most incredible cruise I've ever been on. And I've been on a fair few cruises recently, and it's now created this lust and desire in me to now get to Platinum, which is like 15 sailings with Disney, so I can get all the perks of being in the highest. Well, Pearl is the highest, but Platinum is where you get like some really good perks. But I'm now back into Disney Cruise Line. I knew it beforehand, but it's definitely my favourite cruise line by far.
I think I knew that you'd come back and you'd be, because you've not done it for so many years, have you? And I think I knew when you come back, you'd be like, you cut this out if you want, but Virgin who? But I tell you what, I feel cheated really, because we always do our in-ship live video.
Yes.
And we didn't get time this time, and I feel like I've missed out.
No.
So I'm dying to know what happened, because usually I get it while you're there. So, I'm dying to know all about it.
Yeah, it was incredible. And I still do love Virgin Voyages type of thing. I think they fill two very different sides of my cruise passion. I think they cater to that kind of lose yourself in a really fun, explorative world at different ends of it. One's very kind of, and I was speaking actually to one of the sales managers on board the ship actually, and saying like the reason why I love both brands so much is they cater to two different sides of me. There's very much the playful, child at heart side of me that loves the Disney wonder, the excitement, the magic, and getting lost in all that kind of really magical storytelling. But I also have a really dark, twisted, funny, playful sense of humor as well. And I think Virgin caters to that side of my personality as well, where it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, it's a little bit sexy and flirty. So I do feel like weirdly these two different cruise lines cater to two very different sides and scratch that itch of two different sides of my personality. So I love them both for different reasons, but Disney has definitely kind of snuck back up to my favourite cruise line, and they were beforehand, but I didn't want to admit it, but going back on board has rekindled that love.
I love, because I feel like that about Royal Caribbean. It's that magic and it's that fire that when you get on the ship, it's like, this is my place that I love being. Yes. I'm really curious about Disney, because for the bars, I just all your cocktails that you were sharing, and obviously I'm a Disney fan and I love the characters, and so I am really curious. So let's start at the beginning then. So what ship and where did you cruise?
Yep. So we sailed on board the Disney Fantasy, which was my first ever cruise ship as well. So we did the Disney Fantasy for my honeymoon in the Caribbean, and we were sailing the Norwegian Fjords from the UK on a 7-night sailing. It was hosted by Disney. I will say as well, just to put this out there, even though it was hosted by Disney and they did give us like drinks budget and they gave us like cocktail sessions and things like that, it didn't change how I felt about being on board the ship. It's not like I had a better time because I was with Disney. It actually hindered some of my enjoyment because we spent so much time with Disney on this ship. However, it was still an incredible cruise, regardless of kind of Disney giving us free cocktails every now and then. I just want to put that out there as a disclaimer. Like, it is related. I want to be honest. It was hosted, and then we did get free Wi-Fi and things like that. But I definitely would have I still had a fantastic time regardless of that fact.
Well, I suppose it's not a bad thing, is it, going on a press trip with... I mean, my thoughts on going on a day visit. I mean, that's a no for me. But when you go on a press trip, I think you get to... I think the benefit of that is you get to find out the behind the scenes and stories and bits of news. And so that's all good.
Yes,
and plus you're getting experiences as opposed to when you're on your own, you get that relaxation, wind down. So there's a bit of a trade-off, isn't there?
Yeah, and that's what we felt. We both felt like by about day 3 or 4, and again, I had the best time ever, and the group we were with were incredible. But by day 4, when we finally started to get a bit more free time, was when all of a sudden I laid back and I was like, oh, Phil, this is the happiest I've been on a cruise in such a long time. I feel myself. I feel relaxed. I just feel like this is a holiday, and I now want it to kind of be another 7 nights. I was ready to go back on, basically, by about day 4. I was like, should we book the next voyage after this and do another one?
So just try and explain to me, the cruise lines I've cruised with, so try to explain what the vibe is.
Yeah. So Disney, the way they explain it themselves,
for me and anybody else that doesn't know,
and this is a key thing, because a lot of people go like, do I have to enjoy Disney to enjoy Disney Cruise Line? And the answer is a bit of a vague yes, but. So you're obviously paying a premium. There's no denying it. Disney kind of blatantly said to us they're a premium cruise line, and they do demand a premium. So they're not the cheapest cruise line to get on. So a big part of that is, do you enjoy Disney? And I think it does make a big difference, because you're going to see lots of Disney details everywhere. It's all done very subtly. It's not kind of hitting you around the head type of thing. However, I say that as you walk on board the ship into the Grand Atrium, and Mickey Mouse is waving to you from the balcony above you type of thing. Minnie Mouse is doing meeting and greeting type of thing. And you've got lots of Disney characters in all the artwork around the ship type of thing. So it is very Disney, but it's done very tastefully, very classy. It's not tacky Disney. So you do have to have a degree of, do you love Disney, to get the true value out of it. But strip away all the Disneyisms and all the Disney bits, it is still an incredible cruise line with some of the most attentive crew I've ever experienced on board a cruise ship. Some incredible dining opportunities, amazing entertainment. It is at its heart a fantastic cruise. It just happens to have Disney on top of that experience as well. That takes it to that kind of next level above if you are a Disney fan.
But then I suppose, being a huge Disney fan, which is ridiculous, I've never cruised Disney, but it's like I go to all the theatre shows. Obviously, we've been to the parks. Yep. We're planning to go to California next year. And everything Disney do, they do well. Like, you know, when you're going to something to do with Disney, you know what you're going to get. You know it's good. You're never going to get a grumpy member of staff. You're never going to get something that looks a bit shabby. And it's like with Beauty and the Beast, for example, and Mary Poppins, it's like, you know that, you know, what the special effects are going to be better than any other show, and their bar is always higher. So yeah. So you don't need to take away the Disney, do you? Because Disney says quality, and Disney says you're going to get something really, really great.
I think that's the thing. And that's what I was trying to reconcile with myself, type of thing of, am I loving it because it's Disney, or am I loving it because it's just so good? And it's both. It's both. You can't separate the two, basically, but they both work differently, type of thing. You know, the dining rooms, the cleanliness. Honestly, this ship, she's been sailing since 2012, and you wouldn't guess it. Other than looking like really like for rust and things like that, which happens to all cruise lines type of thing, you wouldn't know. And equally as well, because I was really apprehensive. She's going into a dry dock, literally, our sailing. There was a 7-night after hours, then she was going into dry dock. And I'm always apprehensive about booking a ship just before dry dock, because I do jokingly say some cruise lines, their ships crawl into dry dock. Like, it's all been left and, it's going to dry dock at the end of the season. We'll kind of wait until then. There was one element of the show, of part of one of the dining rooms, that wasn't working, and it was such a minor detail. Everything else, it looked as if it was brand new. It was just as fresh and clean and maintained as it was when I went on my honeymoon when she was 4 years old back then. Honestly, they do such an incredible job of looking after their ships and making sure everything is as immaculate as it can be. Phil has this really funny story he shares all the time, but on our transatlantic sailing, somebody spilt red wine on the stairs. And literally overnight, they were cutting the carpet out of the stairs to replace the carpet. Now, bear in mind, these carpets are all custom made for Disney as well. They've all got custom patterns and everything. So they cut the carpet out of the staircase and replaced the carpet overnight because it was too stained to clean, type of thing. That is the level of cleanliness and maintenance we're talking about on board Disney. They go to an insane level of detail.
Which is what you want, isn't it? And the thing is as well, why go anywhere and not have the same standard or better than what you got at home? And I'm a real advocate for that. I'm never going to slum it on holiday, because that is, you know, I work hard, you work hard, everybody work, you know, we're all working hard. So you don't want to go and think and accept second best.
Exactly, yeah. And I think it was, because it's been such a long time, I forgot that. And that was what was amazing about this opportunity to get back on board, was just kind of remember, oh no, this is special. This isn't kind of like just another cruise line with a Disney logo on it. This is something special. What they've created on board those ships, especially these two ships, the Dream and the Fantasy, I think they hit the nail on the head of what a cruise line could be. And we had like this really cool tour called The Art of the Ship. And it's more about kind of like the design details and how Imagineering built the ship together, and things that you don't realize you subconsciously spot, type of thing they pointed out to us. But the way they explained it was they wanted to create this timeless sense of cruising. So kind of build the ship to kind of hold back to that time where cruising was the pioneering way of travel, type of thing. So you've got that nostalgia of what it's like to go on a cruise, but with all the modern conveniences we expect now in today's society as a family. And I think that's literally what they've done. So when you look at the ship, she's got the two funnel stacks, even though one of them's fake. They got the two funnel stacks to create that classic kind of ocean liner silhouette silhouette type of thing. So when you look at it, you see something timeless. The decor on side, each ship has a different period. So the Fantasy has an Art Nouveau style. So all of the Grand Atrium is all kind of Art Nouveau, and it's designed to look like a giant peacock. When you look at it from a particular angle, the head of the peacock goes up the stairs, and all the awnings on the elevators of all peacocks with little hidden Mickeys dotted throughout it type of thing. It's all got a very kind of Art Nouveau style to it. So it kind of gives it that elevated feeling when you're on board. It's just layer upon layer of storyline and storytelling type of thing as you go throughout. And it's all subtle, but you just kind of spot different pieces as you're going around.
Do you know, if somebody said to me now, not that I would want to go back, but if someone said, right, you could go back and start again with your career, what would you be? That's what I'd be. I'd be an Imagineer. Yeah, that's what I'd be. And there's all the amazing careers out there, but that, because I'm creative, that to me is the dream. Just, they're definitely so lucky to get to do stuff like that. I've geek watched all the programs.
And I think these two ships were built like at that golden era of kind of like the late 90s, early noughties into kind of the millennium beyond, golden era of when Disney Imagineering was just hitting hit after hit after hit. And like, it was so funny because we did Remy's, and we could talk about Remy's if you want another time, but Remy's is like the top tier. It's a Michelin star restaurant aboard the ship. It's incredibly exclusive to get into, really hard type of thing. I spent a small mortgage in there in the end, but it's all themed after Ratatouille, Remy, but it's all done very tastefully because it's an adult-only dining experience. But I was just sat there drinking my Dom Perignon, as you do casually, overlooking the ocean, and I look over at the booth next to us, and I'm like, the fabric, the pattern on that chair, is that Remy? It's literally Remy in the pattern of it. And it's Art Nouveau style drawing type of thing, but it's got this repeating pattern. And it took hours for me to notice, like, oh yeah, no, there's literally Remy is the pattern in the back of the chair. So then our waiter said to us, like, oh yeah, no, there are 8 hidden Remys throughout the restaurant. Can you spot them all type of thing? And I was like, so some of them are really obvious. So as you walk into the restaurant, there's a crystal Remy hanging in the chandelier type of thing above you holding a spoon. That one's really obvious. He said, yeah, we give everyone that one for free because that's what sets the tone for it. But as you're walking around, they're everywhere. They're like hidden in the mirrors. You've got like a little Remy and Emile just engraved into the framing of the mirrors type of thing. One of them, and you have to look at it from a particular angle, but when you put the 2 doors together into the wine cupboard or the wine cellar that they've got on the side of the venue, it creates the outline of Remy, as if he's like in this Art Nouveau styling type of thing. It's just so cleverly done that it's all really like layers and subtle, and some of it's really obvious, some of it's really hidden that you kind of really kind of like be looking at the right angle and go, oh, that's okay, cool. Yeah, great.
See, stuff like that, I'd weep. I love Ratatouille. It's like in our family, it's a real fun. And because Joe's the chef, he's our little chef Remy. So, oh God, I'd just be pathetic. I'd just be weeping all the time on all varieties. So, what you stayed in the balcony cabin?
Yeah, so we had what do we have? We have a deluxe veranda, Disney called them. So they have 2 different categories, well, 3 technically, but a deluxe generally means they're split bathrooms. So Disney pioneered or kind of revolutionized or introduced anyway into the industry split bathrooms. And honestly, right, why no other cruise line has copied this is a mystery to me. Now, I know Disney primarily aims at families, but the split bathroom, when the word deluxe in any category on board means basically split bathrooms. So you get one bathroom that is the wash unit, pretty much. That's all it is, in a toilet. And then the other bathroom is another wash unit with a shower and a bath unit, basically. So the fact that 2 people can get ready at the exact same time, obviously designed for families. These cabins can sleep up to 5. If you get a deluxe family, that's the one that can sleep up to 5 people, basically. And it has bunk beds, the fixed double bed, and then the Murphy bed that comes down. But they have their split bathrooms. And honestly, it was the most revolutionary thing in the cruise industry. The fact that 2 people can get ready at the same time. Obviously, if you've got a family and you're trying to get the kids ready and you need to get ready as well, to have those 2 kind of washrooms to be able to do that. Yeah. Why no other cruise line has not copied that concept is a mystery to me, but it makes a big difference. And to have a veranda, to be fair, it rained the entire time we were in the Norwegian Fjords. So like, did I benefit from having a balcony? Probably not, but it was still lovely to have one, to be able to kind of step outside and just see the fjords in between the rain clouds.
And when we did the fjords, I did it on a P&O ship, and we were in an inside cabin. I went with a friend, and we regretted that, really regretted it, just because you couldn't look out.
Yeah, it does make a big difference.
So today, because there's so much I want to ask, should we stick to the ship and just say, oh yeah, you went Norwegian Fjords, and cover that on the next one?
Yeah, I think so, because we normally do our port guide separately, don't we? So
yeah, right, okay. So what was the cabin spacious? Like, how many times was it turned down a day? How does it work on Disney?
Yeah, so I can't remember the exact square footage. It's not the biggest cabin I've ever been in. I think some of the ships do slightly bigger. I think Royal's cabins are a little bit bigger. But again, so the Fantasy, the Dream, and the ships before that, so the Magic and the Wonder, they have a more kind of classic nautical style decor. So they've got kind of like your deep woods and all that type of decor on it. So it definitely feels, by today's standards, maybe how ships are being built, a bit dated, but again, Disney used the word timeless, and Cunard used this word as well, so it all backs to that kind of classic nautical vibe. We had a sofa unit, so that sofa is technically where one of the beds is, and you've obviously got then the pull down bed from the ceiling. Tons of storage. You've got 2 different wardrobes. You could have a his and hers, or adults and kids wardrobe if you wanted to. There's an extra storage unit by the side of the TV unit. There's a fridge, and it's a proper fridge. Back in the days when cruise lines gave you an actual fridge rather than a chiller. The TV as well. What's really cool is it's got all on-demand Disney movies. So now obviously Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel, so all free and included. So you can just sit in your bed and you kind of watch all the Disney classic films. You can watch TV series, the kids' shorts, animated films, loads of stuff to watch on TV. So it's really nice to kind of just order room service, which is free, have your chicken nugget or your chicken tenders in bed watching Mulan, which we did. Just a great way to spend your holiday type of thing.
And so turn down, was it once or twice a day?
So they do it twice a day. They're one of the few cruise lines that still do actually second turn down service. So obviously, and oh my God, your stateroom host, when they jokingly say on cruise lines you want to take your stateroom host home, it's the Disney version of it they're talking about, because, and I literally found it today, they did this on the honeymoon and they're still doing it, but they're coiling all your cables, your phone charger cables, your power bricks, but they're putting the little Velcro straps around the cables for you as well, and putting them in a little pile type of thing. And I felt for our guy, because we were in our room as much as we usually are, so we were up at like 8 a.m. to get out to get breakfast, which, trust me, never happens. But we were leaving the room in a mess, and we're normally like one of those like Marge in The Simpsons. She's like, oh, I don't want the maid judging me, so we normally clean our room and fold our clothes up and everything. But because we were so busy, we just didn't have the time. Every single day, the second wardrobe, as I was calling it, or our sofa, where our clothes got exploded over the night type of thing as we came back drunk type of thing, and threw clothes everywhere, all folded neatly in a pile, all laid out, shoes put under the bed. Like literally, it was like having a maid type of thing. I cannot rate the stateroom host any higher type of thing. Oh, nothing was a bother. Anything we asked for, they were able to do. Hidden assassins as well. So if you're not somebody who likes to get too engaged, but you just kind of want to know they're around, always available. Second turn down service is then where they put the chocolate. So you get 2 chocolates, or however many chocolates there are in the family. You get a chocolate per person, which are Dove or Galaxy chocolates, and a towel animal each night type of thing. So it was always quite nice to come back after dinner, go into the room then and have the room again prepared, ready for bed, and again cleaned up all the mess we'd made after we'd come back from training, and just dumped everything in the room again, and just have that little towel animal. It's nice to come back and just kind of go like, oh, the room's ready for bed now. I don't have to make my bed. I don't have to clean up. It's all been done. It's lush.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, and I do like that. That's one thing I love about cruising, going back and all your rooms been turned down for the night. It's just something special about it. So the ship, tell me a bit about the ship, because I mean, obviously this was a very inside cruise, wasn't it? Did you explore the outside decks much?
Yeah, we did, and I know a lot of the ship from our Caribbean sailing type of thing. So, oh God, please don't ask me the exact dimensions, but I know she holds, in fact, let me get it on the system, because I do know she was launched in 2012 anyway. I know that Mariah Carey is the godmother, because the Disney Fantasy just makes perfect sense type of thing.
Yeah.
I do know these figures, but I want to check them before I say them, because I may get them wrong. So she's classed as a mid-sized ship, basically. So she is around about 130,000 gross tons. So she's quite comfortably in the mid-sized category by today's standards. Obviously, Oasis class go much bigger. Icon go much bigger. As for guests, at maximum occupancy, she can take 5,458 passengers, but that's obviously every single bed, all the infants on board. Our sailing was at around about 2,700, because it was an out of summer season, wet season cruise type of thing. It was primarily adults with a handful of kids on board. Typically, oh, sorry, I'm wrong. I got that wrong. That's total, sorry, with crew. So guests, sorry. So 4,000 guests with every single berth in full.
Right.
Typically sails around about the 3,500 territory. And then she's got roughly around about 1,460-ish crew, basically. So not the highest crew to guest ratio, but Disney use their crew in the right places to make it feel like they have a really, and bear in mind as well, kids clubs take up a lot of that kind of ratio as well.
Outside, you've got pool area, like there's splash pool, isn't there, on Disney? And then is there an adult area as well?
Yeah, so outside you're going to find, obviously you've got the main pool area where they have funnel vision. So that's where they're going to be playing Disney movies on the giant screen, basically in front of the funnel. That overlooks the main pool. And there's usually on most of the ships like a fun slide for families on board that one there. So they've got like the Mickey and Friends slide, which is the giant Mickey hand holding up the swirly slide. What's cool about this one as well is the pools actually have a kind of floor that can be put over. I forgot the word. I can't find the word for
Submerged.
it. But like the floor. Yeah, it's not so much submerged, but like a deck can be extended to cover over the pool. Yeah. So when they do their deck parties, like the sail away party, basically, they can cover up one of the pools to make the deck have bigger space for kind of the deck parties, which I think is quite cool. So then there are 2 pools there as well then over the main pool area with a bit of a seating area in the middle permanently, or if it's wet or whatever, they can then bring out the deck to make the deck bigger. There's also then usually a food station around the pool area. So in the case of the Fantasy, there is Flows, which is themed after cars. So these are going to be all the kind of the light bite areas then as well. So if you wanted, they're all like pit stop stations basically, but pizzas, hot dogs, burgers, chicken tenders, fries, salads, soups, all available all day pretty much. There's soft drink and tea coffee stations on either side of the ship as well. So if you wanted, again, soft drinks are included. So you just help yourself type of thing to them. And tea and coffee filter is available as well. An ice cream station, which was ice cream, and it's themed after Monsters Inc. ice cream. So it's Mike Wazowski with an ice cream literally stuck over his eye. So it's got a quite cute Monsters Inc. theme. So there's unlimited ice cream as well. So it's soft serve ice cream. You can have as much as you want. That's pretty much 24 hours from my memory. And then next door to that is kind of another drink station then where they do frozen drinks if you wanted to. So you can get the cocktail of the day there as well. But you can also get smoothies and juices and things like that there as well.
When you say soft drinks are included, what soft drinks?
So only on the pool deck are they generally included, and at meal times they'll be included. So if you're in your main meals, so 24 hours and you can have Coke, Fanta, Sprite, some sort of juice drink, if you get what I mean, like this, the usual juices you can find. Cabana's the buffet, which is in towards the back of the pool deck area, is open, but it's limited hours. It's not 24 hours or it's not full service like some cruise lines. They only do breakfast and lunch. They don't do an evening service in the buffet, which my memory I thought they did, but they don't. So if the Cabanas isn't open, then you can still use the pool deck versions to get soft drinks and things like that if you wanted to as well. And then, like I say, for meal times or in any of the bars, if you wanted a soft drink, generally they'll do you a soda fountain drink for free.
Wow. So that's quite a big saving when you've got kids.
Ice cream and soft drinks for free on the pool deck.
Because I think
it's incredible.
Is it $15 to $20 a day? It's $15 a day for the soft drink package, I think, on Royal. Yeah. So that's like, if you've got a couple of kids, that adds up. We've always got the package, so that's brilliant. And then, so inside, is there anywhere inside to get? So like around your promenade area, and is there a snack area there?
Not really. So just want to jump back, to the adult areas as well, because there is the adult area pool deck as well, So I was staying outside. So if you go to the very front of the ship, then you have Quiet Cove, which tends to be the adult area space on the original 4 ships, at least anyway. So that's where the cafe is as well. So there's a cafe. Premium coffees are chargeable, but there is a snack station there if you wanted like cakes, cake pops, things like that. They're free to go in and help yourself, but that's in the adult only area. There's 2 different or 3 tiers to that going up the front of the ship, basically. So you've got the lower pool, which has a kind of sit-in pool bar that you can go to. There's Signals, which is the adult bar then at the kind of front of the ship, which overlooks looking back onto the ship. And then right at the very front, in kind of the front above the bridge, there's also a place called Satellite Falls on the Fantasy, which is a sheltered from the wind anyway area where it's just sun loungers and a bit of a cool down sit-in pool. It's above one of the radar systems, the giant domed radars is underneath that. And they have like water just sprinkling down to cool you down. Obviously in the Caribbean, it was lovely. We spent our entire honeymoon in Satellite Falls, in the Norwegian Fjords. I think I went there once and went, yep, it's still here, and left and went back downstairs.
Oh, it's making me want to go. So there is a lot outside, isn't there? A lot of space.
Loads. And obviously you've got like the Aqueduct as well. So that's going to be the water coaster. That's free and included as well. So that runs pretty much all day as well. That lights up at night as well in kind of LED colour changing lights. So it looks really cool at nighttime for the nighttime parties. You've then also got Nemo's Reef, which is the little tight splash pad. So that's going to be kind of obviously where your diaper trained kids are going to go in to kind of splash around and that type of thing. That is for little ones basically. And then you've got the Aqua Lab I think it's called, which is then the slightly more, I would say teen, or not teens, but tweens, kind of, I would say, I don't know, 5 to maybe 10-year-old. That's going to be the slightly more bigger kids splash area. It's slightly away from the main pool, but that's where there's loads of leaking places everywhere that you can kind of put your hands on, and the water changes where it comes out for. That's where your tipping buckets are going to be, kind of that kind of slightly bigger kids splash area as well then. And then right at the very, very back of the ship, front, I'm getting my directions wrong. The very back of the ship, then is going to be Goofy's sports deck, where you're going to have your kind of sports net, but also your mini golf course as well.
Right. Well, it sounds really good. Did you take loads of pictures?
There's loads of stuff. Yeah, loads of pictures. Obviously, it all looks wet and grey, but I got loads of pictures.
So what about inside then? Tell me about inside of the ship.
The Grand Atrium's a great place to start, because obviously that's where you come into the ship in most situations type of thing. It's over 3 floors, and this is going to be where some of the key venues. There is a bar in the main lobby area. There is a smaller coffee shop as well. So there's another kind of, I forgot what it's called, Buena Vista, I want to say. I think it's a Buena Vista cafe. I'll check my pictures. But again, another smaller coffee shop there as well, which is chargeable. Does have another snack station. So again, it's treats and cake pops, things like that. So again, kids and adults can use this coffee shop. The other one is adult only. So that's on the second floor. Depends how you use it. It would be a British, American second floor, sorry. So not the first floor, second floor of the atrium. Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is on the top floor of the atrium. So that's going to be the kind of where the kids can get made over by a fairy godmother in training. So that's where your princesses and your prince and pirate makeover stories. And then the kids clubs, I found them. The first time I avoided them entirely, but I actually went into them this time around. But the kids clubs are also off the atrium on the top floor as well. So they are a bit hidden away, which is a good thing because they've got their own space. But they are off the atrium on the top floor of the atrium.
Right. And so just because I just don't understand that, I don't get, because I've not been on one. Are there loads of bars in the atrium, or is it like Royal where they've got different areas that have got different venues?
Not really. It's a bit more, you've got the Grand Atrium basically, and kind of the main dining hall. So Royal Court, one of the main 3 dining rooms, is off the atrium. So as you walk in to the left type of thing is where you're going to find the entrance to Royal Court, one of the main dining rooms. If you walk behind that down the side of the ship, that's where you're going to get to one of the other ones then as well, which is Animator's Palette. So they're kind of on the I think it's deck 4 off the top of my head, where you walk in, and that's where those 2 main dining rooms are. Go down a floor beneath Royal Court, underneath the atrium, and that's where you're going to find the third of the 3 main dining rooms, basically. They're all kind of accessible from there. There is a bar, but it's not in the atrium. It's kind of adjacent to the atrium. So it opens out into it, but it's kind of like, you imagine you walk in, you've got the Grand Atrium, giant chandelier, elevators. It's kind of like next to it. As you're walking towards the front of the ship, there is a bar there then as well, which then leads to the shopping district where all the shops are, which then leads into the theatre. So it's kind of like, and it's not a promenade per se, it's like more of a section of the ship. They kind of all flow into one, but they very much feel like you're going into the next space now. You're going to the next space. They're just open doors to get between them. Right.
So it has got bars?
Yeah. Adults got it down type of thing. Right. So obviously you can get alcohol around the main bar. There is a pop-up bar that tends to serve beer, wine, champagne, things like that. You can also get the cocktail of the day, and you can get a beer flask that you can refill. So once you pay for the cup, you can just refill it for, please don't ask me, I've got it on in a picture somewhere, $6-7 to get a beer flagon refilled. There's one in the lobby, which is called Bon Voyage, which is a full cocktail lounge type of thing. When you walk in, it's beautiful. It's stunning Art Nouveau awnings and everything around it. They're going to be the main public bars, and Signal's in the adult-only area, and there is one on the adult-only pool area as well, bars. The adult areas, the main adult bars tend to be in their own area, away from kids type of thing. So you're going to have then, as you walk towards the back of the ship, you're going to come across Europa. Now, Europa is going to be the adult entertainment district on board the Fantasy. Each ship has their own version of this, but Europa is themed around 8 different venues, and they're all inspired by major cities within Europe, basically. This is where we spend most of our time, unsurprisingly, but this is where evening nightlife is going to take place, basically, in Europa.
Right. And where's that? So explain that to me again. So it's
towards the back of the ship. Please don't ask me what deck it's on. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's on 4,
right,
but don't quote me on that one. I can't remember which deck we're on, whether it's 4 or 5, but it's basically towards the very back of the ship, and there's a district. So you walk past I forgot what you walk past, anyway, you go to the back of the ship anyway, and you see the big sign for Europa, and technically it is adult only. Since the ship's been sailing, they've made it kind of adult only, half of it, during the daytime is adult only. The La Piazza, which is the hub, is family friendly during the daytime. And then in the evenings, it becomes adult only type of thing. They're not very strict about it, to be honest. But I think just by the nature of it, it doesn't really have many kids going there because there's nothing for kids to do there in the evenings. It's all very adult entertainment and things like that.
Right.
So you've got La Piazza, which is themed obviously after Italy. It's a giant, beautiful merry-go-round that you can sit into type of thing. And they've got little booths, podium seats you can sit into. It's stunning. It is absolutely beautiful. But then leading off that, then you've got O'Gill's, which is the sports bar on board, which has a very Irish theme to it as well. But there's lots of like hidden Disney details everywhere as well around it. You've got Skyline, which is my favorite bar on any cruise line. It's a martini bar. It's very dimly lit inside it, but it's got giant windows that are all video screens. But these video screens rotate through famous cities, around Europe ultimately. So like Budapest, London, Paris. But it magically transitions through pixie dust that kind of goes across the skyline. And then you just have like this. It just looks like you're looking out of a venue over the city at nighttime type of things. You've got the Eiffel Tower in the distance twinkling, but then there's loads of hidden Disney details, and I didn't get any on camera. I'm really annoyed. But like, for example, one of the hotels, and you really literally have to get right up to the video screen to see this, but one of the hotels, like R2-D2 and C-3PO, will kind of get together in the room and they'll have like a bit of an interaction. Again, it's purely the outline, purely the silhouette type of thing, as if they're just in one of the hotel rooms and then they walk off. Mickey Mouse will come out and do a bit of a wave type of thing. Again, the silhouette, it's tiny on this giant video screen. It's almost a bit of a, was that Mickey Mouse?
Yeah.
Type of moment. It's not one of those like Mickey Mouse comes out and waves at you while you're having your cocktail. It's all very subtly done. It's incredible in that the cocktails are amazing. Martinis inspired by cities around Europe. Then you've got the Tube, which is the main kind of lounge for adults, which is themed after the London Underground. It is stunning in there. They've got this giant kind of LED ceiling with all these giant domes that change color throughout the different shows they're doing in there. That's going to be where a lot of like the adult discos are going to be happening, silent discos, the adult game shows and entertainment, all that stuff tends to be in the Tube because it's the furthest away and it's the hardest for the kids to get into. And then the last one, there's a mini street, which I forgot the name of it, but it's Parisian Street, basically. That's when they'll do late night buffet. So around about 11ish, I think it is, for about an hour, they'll do like finger foods in the adult area as well. So if you want like chicken skewers, very much like grab and go food, that's available in the little French section. And then Ooh La La is then the champagne lounge on board. So you go into Ooh La La and it's very much like a French boudoir, very opulent, very grand. It's meant to be like a French castle, basically, a little chateau. But they've got this stunning infinity mirror behind it, which has all these like bubbles, they look like, and it's like the inside of a champagne glass has gone off or bottle's gone off and you're inside a champagne glass. God. So that's stunning as well. And we didn't spend any time on our honeymoon, so it was nice to go in there and have a couple of cocktails in there as well.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's not just about the Disney characters, the Disney shows that the kids are going to go.
No.
It sounds like that there's just so much for the adults.
Yeah. Definitely. I jokingly put a post that say, let me introduce you to some of my favorite Disney characters on board. And it was just all the cocktails we drank on the first 2 nights type of thing. Like so many cocktails. And the one thing I say as well, because there's no drinks package, there are ways you can save on drink, but there are no real drinks packages. It's all premium spirits. It's all premium alcohol. And the cocktails aren't extortionate, as you would think. They're not cheap. They're definitely resort prices, but they're not high-end $30 a cocktail. You're looking like $16 to $17 for a premium cocktail where, like, we're talking in Ooh La La, for example, we had this really stunning cocktail that had Moet in it, and they used the bubble gun to make the smoky bubbles on top of the glass type of thing. So, you know, we're talking really high-end premium cocktails, premium spirits, so you can have a very good time. If you're somebody who enjoys signature cocktails and you appreciate drinking, Disney definitely got it down. They know adults enjoy a good drink.
And do they do offers or anything like that on cocktails, or is it that's the price? Or
kind of. They do a cocktail of the day. So every day in the Navigator app, you will see the cocktail of the day, and it's usually a classic cocktail. So it'll be like a mojito, a pina colada, something like that. That will be around about $8, $9 a day, basically. And beer is also on offer as well. So like I say, you could pay for the refillable mug, basically, and you don't have to keep it on you. It is a souvenir you can take home, but you can just hand it back to them, and they have a note on your like a room key, basically, that you've got the refillable mug, and you just get a clean one when you go back. So that's one way to save if you're a beer drinker or a cocktail drinker, is to do the cocktail of the day. For meal service, they do a wine option, basically. So when you sit down in the main dining room, there'll be a card on your table about signing up for a 3, 4, 5, 7, I think it is, night wine package. And there's a classic and a premium version. For reference, we booked the 5-night one because we were doing speciality for 2 nights. And Disney paid $140 for 5 bottles of wine, basically. Right. But those 5 bottles of wine follow you around the restaurants, apart from Remy. Every other restaurant, even speciality, if you do Paolo, the other speciality, you can use your main dining room wine package in one of the speciality restaurants as well. So
that's good. That Royal used to do that, and it used to be quite good, actually, because there's no... You can just save it for tomorrow, can't you?
Yeah, if you don't drink all of that bottle, and trust me, the wine, you have your own dedicated wine or drinks host as well. So you have your main waiter, you have the head waiter, but you also have a drinks waiter as well, whose pure job is to look after your drinks for you. They do a very good job of keeping your glass topped up.
And do they move around with you, around the restaurants?
Yeah,
they do.
So the way main dining works is they introduce something called rotational dining. So on board, there are 3 main dining rooms. And this is I'm not a big fan of main dining, but Disney's way of doing it is probably one of the few ways that I'll actually tolerate main dining. So free restaurants, you don't know your rotation until you get on board the ship. So there's no point in going, I want Animator's Palette night 1. It is impossible to request a rotation. But when you get on board, again, you'll be assigned a dining room. And on the first night, in our case, was Animator's Palette. Animator's Palette is themed after kind of Disney animation, and I learned so much more about how this restaurant works, but it's really fun and cool. There's an interactive show that happens around it. So on that first night, we had Under the Seas menu, which is then basically all seafood inspired. And then Crush, the turtle from Finding Nemo, is literally swimming past on all the screens around you. But he'll then stop in a section and he'll talk to you in your section then as well. So he'll be like, hey, little dude, where are you from? And asking you questions about where you are, and then swimming off to another table. And then between main and dessert, they'll do the EAC. So all of a sudden you'll transition into the EAC and all the screens will be showing all like the bubbles as if you're going through the East Australian Current, and Squirts and all the other kids then will be swimming literally around the dining room with you. It's just so much fun. The second time we were in there, we had the signature Animator's Palette restaurant menu, which then is when you do animation magic. And this is so much fun, but you get given a placemat and you draw yourself or a character on the placemat. They then take that away, you enjoy your meal, and every now and then Mickey Mouse comes out on the screens and he's like talking to you about, hey pal, we could work on something special for you. How's dinner going? And then it cuts back to kind of like just all like animation sketches of all the animators, like, drawing all the different characters. But then the finale, which I think is before dessert again, is they put on a show basically where the character you've drawn comes to life on screen. So you can see your character dancing with Mickey Mouse, and then it transitions into like all the classic scenes. So someone will be dancing to Friend Like Me from Aladdin, Jungle Book dancing with Blue and the characters, and it's all random, so you never know who you're going to be with, but you'll see your character then on screen dancing to like Jungle Book, dancing to Aladdin. Like, it's so cool, and they're kind of like, oh, there's me, oh, there's your character, there's who you drew. And then the credits come up, and obviously it's like, and thanks to all our guest animators, and you sign your name on your placemat and your name comes up, and then they bring the placemat back to you, and it's got a little seal of approval on there that you're an official Disney animator now because you've been in a Disney feature film. And like, you get goosebumps because it's just really cool to kind of like see it happening. It all happens while you're dining. This happens between your meal. Like, it's so cool.
And when you're talking to Crush, is he interacting with you?
Yeah, totally. Like, you say where you're from, what town you're from, what you've eaten, where you've been for the day. It's very, very short because obviously he's got to get around the whole dining room. But we're talking like he'll do a minute or 2 in each section. Sometimes he'll pop back type of thing. But yeah, definitely, like, he'll call you out, ask you what your name is, where you're from. Obviously, the kids get a better chance of being called out. But yeah, the closer you are to the screens, the more chance you've got of being called out.
Be like with the kids, like, out of the way.
Like, me. I had a great day.
So that's your first restaurant on your rotation. Yeah. Then so there's 3.
So yeah, there's 3. So then what happens then is all your wait team will follow you then as well. So then the following day they'll be in their costume for the next venue you're in. And like, they tell you all this. So when you go in there, they say to you like, so tomorrow we're going to be dining in Royal Court. We're going to be here at this time. The menu is going to be this style of menu tomorrow. So blah, 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 blah type of thing. So second day, I'm pretty sure we had, I want to say Enchanted Garden. I can't remember which way around we did. So Enchanted Garden is stunning. It's not very Disney, but it's stunning. So it's like the Gardens of Versailles. and it's really stunning. It's all very ornate, and it's like as if you're in kind of a garden trellis almost, and there's all kind of LEDs above you hidden behind like what looks like the ceiling or like the skyline. And I didn't notice it the first time, but she explained it to us now, our hostess. She was basically saying it's like as if you arrive and it's the evening and you're dining throughout the night, basically, and you have this incredible meal in the gardens of Versailles. And this is where these lanterns I was mentioning before we started filming, usually they were broken, unfortunately, but there's like these giant like flower blossoms overhead, and they bloom overnight, basically, and start lighting up. So they become the night light. And then basically as you finish your meal, it's then sunrise, and you can just about in the distance where the like stained glass is the very back, you could just see the sun coming up in the distance, and that's kind of the end of the meal. And I was kind of, that's kind of a little bit magical that you're having this like enchanted meal under the stars in this garden that comes alive around you. I've missed it the 2 times because every time I seem to go there, I'm always a little bit tipsy, a little bit drunk. Drinks are free flowing, and I took no photos this entire time, so I've got no proof that this happens. But it was just like this little magical, subtle show that's happening around you type of thing. And they have they call it Market Fresh, the menu. So it's all very much kind of like food to forks inspired food, at least anyway, in Enchanted Garden.
And can you sit on your own, or do you have to sit with some people?
Technically, Disney do assign you seating, so officially you could be sat with somebody else. You can request to be sat separately, and they now more than ever have like tables for couples. It's just not guaranteed, basically. It is assigned seating, and you do sit in the same table number in each of the 3 restaurants when you rotate through them. If you don't like your table mates, and this has happened to us, whereby somebody did ask to be sat separately, they were very awkward about it, and they were like, it's not you personally, we just were hoping to spend time together as a couple. It just depends on how busy the ship is. If you go out of season and the ship's not very busy, then you've got a higher chance of being able to sit by yourself. But if the ship's full, then you are likely to be paired. But Disney do such a great job of pairing like adult only couples together, so at least you got that together. You're not going to be sat with another family who's got a toddler. You're going to be sat with other couples if you're an adult only couple. And then families, obviously, if there's a table of family of 6 and you're traveling together in cabins, you'll all be sat together as well. But yes, they do allocated seating.
Right. So then what was the third one?
Then the last restaurant on the Fantasy is Royal Court, then, which is themed after all the Disney princesses.
Right.
I feel like this is probably the most like atypical main dining room because it looks like a giant grand ballroom. But what I appreciated more this time around, maybe because I'm a bit older and a bit more of a travel agent looking for these details, the Disney details are so layered in this. So you've obviously got like giant mosaics of all the Disney princesses dotted around, and they're all beautiful to look at in themselves. The light fittings on all the kind of sections, they're all Cinderella's carriage, sorry. So they're all like the pumpkin carriage on all the kind of posts dotted around. But if you look up at the chandelier, you've got this beautiful crystal chandelier, and it was only when I looked at it, got a bit closer, you can see all the different crowns and symbols for all the princesses etched into the glass very subtly. So you've got like the rose from Beauty and the Beast, you've got Aurora's crown, you've got the apple from Snow White type of thing. It's all just very subtle details. There's little crowns embellished into all the chairs at the backs of them and on the tops of them. It's just really subtle princess details. And then the first night you dine there, typically you'll have the princess menu or the Royal Court menu, which will be a very French inspired. So cruise ships classic, you're going to find escargot on the menu in Royal Court the first time you go there.
Oh, amazing. It sounds brilliant. So then on a 7-night cruise, how does that work?
So what will happen is you'll do your first rotation into them, and the menu you get will vary. Typically what used to happen is the first night you would always get the signature menu. That's changed now. This cruise threw out the window. So the first night we had the crush menu because we were obviously doing Under the Sea. So we were doing the crush menu. Then we had Enchanted Garden menu and Royal Court menu. So we got the 2 signature menus for those 2 eateries. The 4th time we did speciality, but what would happen? No, sorry, the 4th time, we did, and this was weird because this never normally happens, but we were doing Pirate Night, which is the pirate theme night. Normally you get Pirates in the Caribbean menu, and it's a bit of a Caribbean menu. So all 3 restaurants will have Pirate Night menu. However, because we were in the Norwegian Fjords and it was our first port day, we had Frozen menu. So we had the Arendelle menu. So we had, it's all very much kind of inspired by the Frozen film, basically. So all of us, I was like, having having a bit of a cultural conflict, to be honest, because it's pirate night and we're having the frozen menu. But yeah, so every restaurant will have that menu if it's a themed night, basically. We skipped it the following 2 nights, so I don't know what menu they have, but I know they have different themed menus, if you get me. So they'll have a different character menu or something like that. And then on our last night, for us at least anyway, because we were back in Animator's Palette, we had the Animator's Palette menu, which is the signature menu for Animator's Palette. Right. So it'll depend, basically. Some nights it'll be a themed menu for all 3 eateries. Other times you'll have a different version of that restaurant's concept menu.
So you skipped it 2 nights. What did you do on those 2 nights?
So we did specialty dining and we treated ourselves quite expensively to Remy, which is one of 2 specialty restaurants, adult only, on board the ship. So there's 2 on this class of ship anyway, Remy and Paolo. Paolo is on all of the ships. It's a bit different on the Wish class, but it is an Italian-inspired menu, ultimately. So it's all very much inspired by Venice. Right. So you've got all the gonzi. And apparently Paolo means Pole, I believe, is what I was told. So it's designed to be very much inspired by Italy. So that one is roughly, I think, $55 now. It used to be a lot cheaper to do their menu in the evening in Paolo. It's a 5-course menu, Paolo. Lovely meal. I think, unfortunately for us, because we did Remy first, when we went to Paolo the following day, we were a bit like, oh, it's not as nice as Remy. Remy's is 2-3 times the price. So right. But we had a lovely meal. Like, it comes with a really great choice. You get 5 courses. It's stunning. But the real special one, and I'm so glad we did it, even though when I got the bill, I was a bit like, oh, my Lord, was Remy. It is incredible. Like, I lost count of the courses. Like, more and more courses just kept appearing, type of thing. Remy's, it costs $135 per person for the meal, which is the most I think I've ever paid for a specialty restaurant on board any cruise line ever. But the way the menu works, you've got 2 different menus. I've got the name of the chef, I can find them, but basically one's a French 3 Michelin star restaurant chef. He's curated the one side of the menu. And then the other side of the menu is done by Disney's Michelin starred chef. So he's an American chef. They don't have the same ingredients. Some of the courses, they have Wagyu beef, but they do their own spin on the same concept type of thing. But they are very different menus. And this menu will change every 3 or 4 months, basically. So when you go on, you're not guaranteed the exact same menu. But as you can imagine, it's very high-end. It's very kind of deconstructed, stunning. Honestly, it was just the most incredible meal we've ever had. It takes maybe like 30, 40 people in that restaurant each night. It only runs a limited number of times per sailing type of thing. But the way our maitre d' was explaining it to us was there's a container that is delivered to the ship just for Remy. These ingredients are sourced. Like we had, what was the name of the fish? We had a certain type of fish, basically, that is only farmed in south of Australia, in the deep cold waters south of Australia type of thing. And it's the only place this fish comes from. The butter is churned from, you get the whole storyline. I could probably pull my notes out and remember them all, but that's the level of food you're getting. Like you're getting the hallmark of every single thing, even down to the salt. The salt is procured from a particular place type of thing. It's just immaculate attention to detail type of thing. But then we were trying to do a drinks pairing. You get 1 cocktail for it, which is the Colette, which is obviously Colette from Ratatouille, the film. It's a champagne cocktail. That's included. Anything other than that is a cost. And we were like, oh, well, let's try not spend too much money. Let's keep it simple. Let's get some wine. However, wine is by the bottle, not by the glass. So trying to find a wine. And then the sommelier done, I think, a very good sales job, but also said, like, how much you willing to spend? And I was like, not as much as you think. The cheapest bottle of wine that he recommended was $140. And I was like, I'm not paying that much for wine. So I decided to go for the champagne pairing at $185 instead. And Phil had the wine pairing to go with it as well. But again, if you're a big fan of food, it's expensive. It's a cruise ship. It's Disney. But it was incredible. I was drinking Dom Perignon. I was drinking what was I drinking? Bollinger. But like he was explaining, like these bottles, they're not off the shelf standard Dom Perignon. Yeah. These are limited run signature bottles of champagne. The one bottle of champagne, the name I can't remember the name of it. Sorry, but I've got again pictures of all of this stuff, and I am working on writing a blog about this. But like it's a hand painted glass of champagne by the owner of the farm or the vinery that makes the champagne. They're like really limited run stuff. There's only like 100 bottles of this champagne that you have with this one course, and it was perfectly paired. It was beautiful. Like it is the most over the top fluffy menu. I loved every single minute of it. It's probably still to this day one of the best meals I've ever had anywhere. It was incredible. And I'm so glad I did it, even though when the bill came, I cried.
What was the gluten-free like?
Fine, because everything is made for that person. So I think Phil had the French menu, I had the American menu, and I think there were 2 ingredients on the whole menu that had to be substituted for something else, because it's all made by, there's literally a chef or a team of chefs just for Remy. That's all they do on the ship. They don't work on anything else. They just will look after Remy. Same with the waitstaff. They don't do anything else. They just look after Remy, the waitstaff on there. So they know that menu inside and out.
And what about the other restaurants? How did Phil get on with all of those, with the gluten-free?
So it's changed from when we first went on board, and we did find Cabanas. The buffet was a bit restrictive for him. So back in the day, you did the whole thing of the head waiter or the would guide you around basically and say, you can have this, you can't have this. And there used to be labels for everything. It's clear that something must have gone wrong, because now it's a 0 tolerance policy, basically. If you want to dine in the buffet for gluten-free, you have to order everything, and it's all made for you, and it's all brought to you personally via a buzzer system, which was a bit frustrating for Phil, because that freedom and the excitement of exploring a buffet and making a meal was gone. He had to order everything, but everything he wanted, they were able to make. He didn't enjoy Cabanas. That said, neither did I really, and I'm usually a fan of a buffet, but it wasn't my favourite buffet. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It just wasn't good.
I don't like buffets.
In main dining, not a problem. Absolutely not a problem. Again, because the waiter gets to know you. The first night is always a bit of a challenge, because they don't quite know what to prepare and they haven't prepared ahead. But generally, I think on the last night, Phil had 3 desserts brought out to him, because they were just like, chef's gone wild, have this, have this, have this. And he was like, I have no room. I have no room for food. But yeah, main dining was fine. And then we did breakfast in the main dining room. So Royal Court is open for breakfast every day and for lunch as well. So we went there twice, I think, off the top of my head. And again, it wasn't a problem, because again, it's all made to order there as well.
Well, that sounds brilliant. So have we missed anything?
Kids Club is the only other thing.
Right, okay.
Kids Clubs, because they do incredible kids clubs. And I never went into them on the last 2 voyages, because I didn't realise how open hours worked, but somebody pointed out to me. So they have, and I'm always going to get these wrong because I get confused, but they have multiple kids clubs. They have a nursery on board, Small World Nursery. They have the Oceania Club and Lab, which is designed for kids, I believe, 4 till 10 or 4 till 12. I always get this wrong, and Disney tell me off for getting it wrong all the time. Then they have Vibe and Edge, which are then for tweens and teens, basically. So kids up to kind of the 19 territory. And they're all got different activities based on the ages that are going in them. Now, typically, it's the whole thing of sign your kid in. They get given a wristband that they can't take off. That then, obviously, for more the 10 and under category, they're the ones that they can't really let themselves in and out of very easily. I'd done all of them apart from which one did I do? I didn't do Vibe, which is I think is 12 to 15, I think is the age for that one. I didn't get into that one. I could be wrong. It could be the older category, because I couldn't find it. It's right in the very nose of the ship, basically. There's they got their own little area with hot tubs and everything in there. But I went into Oceania Lab and Oceania Club because I learned there's open hours. And I thought open hours they're just open for you to go into, but I didn't realize they also scheduled activities for you to do whilst you're in those open hours as well. So one of the activities we did, which for those watching on video, you'll be able to see this.
Oh, I saw
we
this.
We did animation. Honestly, it's not going to show up on camera now, is it? But you get to make your own animation cell. So it's painting ultimately, but it was so much fun. You trace over the picture, and then you get given paint then to paint on the back side of it, so you can kind of then get your own little animation cell.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And it's how animations works, but yeah, it's obviously not real animation. But that was fun to do in the kids club. And then the other one I did, and I loved this one, and it was something that remember I've always said to you can make flubber on Disney?
This is what I saw. I saw you making slime, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not flubber anymore. It's now Stitch goo making, basically. So all of us, it was like the most adults I've ever seen at a kids club type of thing. We were all sat there at these little kids' tables, sat down type of thing. But I didn't realize either until somebody told me Stitch actually comes along to this class as well. So you go in there and the mad scientist comes out too. If you've ever watched kind of Phineas and Ferb, she's very much like Dr. Doofenshmirtz with the accent type of thing. Puts in a bit of an accent, but she's a mad scientist teaching you how to make space goo with Stitch. But the secret ingredient is Stitch's boogers, and that's what makes it blue. Type of thing. So literally, I sat there as kids type of thing, and honestly, I was so enthralled making this slime with Stitch. But then Stitch comes out and he helps you, or doesn't help you in some cases, in building your slime. And I was saying, like, that's the Disney difference. Like, other cruise lines have slime classes, but what other cruise line has it where Stitch himself comes out and helps you make it? And he's not actually putting his boogers in it, but that's the storyline behind it. He's put his boogers into a container for you to help you make this goo. You get to take home your little tub of goo type of thing. But we walked past there a couple of times, and they've got a Star Wars area, so you can pilot the Millennium Falcon on there. They've now got a Marvel area, so you can go in there, and they've got... Have you ever watched Doctor Strange, whereby they've got like the I think it's in the first film where you can turn the dial and it teleports.
Have I
into, like,
watched it?
They've got that.
Kieran.
So you can go into a little section of the Sanctum Sanctorium, and they've got that thing where you can turn the dial and it magically transports to a different place type of thing. But again, Doctor Strange will be in there sometimes for you to do meet and greets with as well. I happened to walk past the one time when it wasn't open hours, and I looked into Andy's playroom, and Woody and Jessie were in there as well doing meet and greets with the characters. Like, I was just, this is so cool. Like, I went into Pixie Hollow as well, where again they do like Tinkerbell can sometimes be in there meeting the characters. They do princess storytelling, so Belle will come in there and read stories to the kids type of thing. I was like, this is incredible. Like, if you are a kid, I can imagine. Like, as an adult, I was like, I'm happy to spend time in here and do all these fun activities. I've never been a fan of like cruise activities, but I was like, what's in the schedule? What's in open hours today?
We go to Andy's room today. Yeah, I want to drive the Millennium Falcon. I'd Marvel. I'm a mega Marvel fan and a bit of a geek.
Yeah.
And Chris, I mean, when we went to Disney and we went to Star Wars landings, it was like, it blew me away how much he was like a child, because that's his thing. And you could see, it was just like walking around and he had his camera out the whole time. And that's the thing with Disney, it gets you as an adult and makes you feel like a child.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what I said to Phil halfway through. Again, it reminded me back into that kind of like, this is bigger than me. And I feel like all these emotions about being like an adult now and that kind of not wanting to let go of your childhood, it kind of hit me hard. And there were two moments when I generally, and I'm not afraid to admit this, there were two moments when I generally wept. The first one was stepping outside and seeing the Mickey funnel in Alden, because this has been such a bucket list for me to do a Norwegian Fjords cruise in general, but to do it with Disney meant a lot to me. And I just got overwhelmed of like, oh my God, I'm finally here. This is real. I'm really here. The other one was the See You Real Soon show on the very last day in the atrium. They do a little bit of a show and they play the Sailing Away song, the song you have at the beginning where it's all jolly and lively at the beginning. On the last night, it's a little bit slower, a little bit more reflective in that little Disney way they do it. But what I didn't know they did, and I must have forgotten, but they play a video of like people from the sailing you're on getting on board. So it opens up the video and it's people walking on and seeing Mickey for the first time, and you can see the excitement in their face, hugging the characters, and they're people I've seen these families on the ship. And I'm like, they filmed this while we're on, where's the cameras? How did they film this? Like, I generally did not know they filmed this. And to see people you've been chatting to hugging Mickey Mouse on camera and everything, and they're singing this whole like really emotional song about sailing away and making memories. And I was like, just turned around, saw Phil, and just burst out crying, because I was like, this is the best holiday I've ever had. Like, why are we getting off? Like, I'm literally welling up now thinking about it, taking me back to that moment of just like, it just gets you. If you get it, it gets you and it holds on to you. And it's like, there's something special about going on a Disney cruise. It really is worth the premium they charge for it, because nobody does it as good as Disney, in my opinion.
Do you know what? You've literally got me thinking, I might have a look tonight. I might have a look at the website and say, honestly, you know that I never get like that it's like, because I've got my own mind of what I want to do. But today I'm going to look at Disney tonight. It
definitely is. And like a bit of a mini sales pitch, they were explaining to us in training type of thing. If you factor in how much you would pay to do a similar like city break, somewhere like London, go do pizza, go have some soft drinks, ice cream. If you go watch a theatre show, go to the cinema, how much you pay for a hotel and all that type of stuff, it actually adds up quite a lot to go out and have that. But to have that all unlimited on board, the theatre shows are included, the movie, there's a cinema on board, so you can watch literally the day a film comes out in the cinema. If it's a Disney, Marvel, Star Wars film, it will be on the ship the same day. So you could be on board a Marvel film. We did it. The first ever Doctor Strange came out while we were on the transatlantic. The day it came out, we were in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, so day it came out, we were able to watch it in the cinema on board and watch, the new Doctor Strange movie. But then equally, like if you compare that as well to like a 2-3 night break to Disneyland Paris and see how much that would cost you, bearing in mind food's not included, drinks aren't included, it adds up quite a lot. And comparably, actually now, I can see where the value is with it. I can remember, where the value is with it type of thing. You get so much included, especially to have that food, the entertainment, the shows, the activities, the classes, the characters, all that stuff included off the bat type of thing. It isn't as expensive as it initially seems if you are somebody who loves that Disney bubble, that Disney experience.
Well, just as an example, I mean, we're going to Lisbon for 3 nights with the boys in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to book tonight. But we want to do 2 tours, and those 2 tours are going to be £550 for the 4 of us.
Yeah.
And that's 2 in a day. That's two tours. So it adds up. Yeah. And, that's... So when you think of that, the value in being on the ship and all the activities included is worth
it. I could justify it before, don't get me wrong, because I speak to so many customers who kind of go like, oh, it's expensive. And I'm like, no, it is worth it. But just having that refresher to get back on board and experience it all firsthand has just reminded me about just how immaculate and how detailed everything is, the service level on board, how clean the ship is. I think I said it before we got on camera type of thing. I may have said it already on the episode, but like going into every bathroom on board, they were immaculate. Like every single toilet roll had folded edges on it type of thing into a little triangle. And it was so unusual to go to toilet that many times and see it so many times. It was more often than it wasn't that I was going into a bathroom and the toilet paper was folded over, that it became a sticking point in my head of like, God, this is really clean. This ship is incredibly clean, and the cleanliness level on board, the attention to detail, the service on board, I cannot fault it in any way. And I've normally got a lot to say about a lot of things. I cannot find anything negative other than I can't do it enough. I can't afford to do it as often as I would like to. That is the only complaint that I can find.
No, I have to say Royal Caribbean do that. They have dedicated bathroom attendants, and so they're always But yeah, they're the cruise lines that make the difference, aren't they, when you've got that sort of stuff? But they haven't got the Millennium Falcon.
No. And that's why they charge the premium they charge. Those cruise lines, Celebrity, Royal, Disney, Virgin, to some extent, they're all in the premium cruise category. That's why they charge more than other cruise lines, because you're getting that level of service. And if those things matter to you, you find a way to justify the price point. And I have now changed my outlook on life. I'm finding the money to sail more with Disney, because I think we are going to do a lot more Disney cruising in our future, because we just fell back in love with it again.
Do you know what I want to go? Which ship is it that has the Haunted Mansion bar? I want to go on that.
The Disney Treasure, and I've just spotted this winter there are a couple of sailings where the price is $3,500 for 2 in a balcony, which compared to the fact that it's usually closer to 5, I'm saying it's like, can we justify a cruise in 2 months' time in the Caribbean?
I really want to go on that bar. I just want to go on any Disney cruise now, but it just sounds all really exciting. But before COVID, I was talking to someone from Disney, and they were saying that they planned to have 3 ships over here, but then obviously COVID happened. But hopefully we are going to get more ships. Yeah, so
like briefly, and again, how much more can we talk about Disney? So at the moment they've got how many ships now? They've got the 4 classic ships, as we call them. So the Magic, the Wonder, and the original 2. They are a lot smaller. Then you've got the Dream and the Fantasy, which in my opinion are kind of like perfection in ship design. Then they've got the Wish class, which they're currently building. So you've got 3 in the Wish class, 2 are sailing at the moment, the Wish and the Treasure. The Destiny launches later this year as well. So that's 3 in the Wish class. They're building the 4th one at the moment. So there will be 4 Wish classes sailing. There is a 5th Wish class coming, which is going to be owned by the Oriental Land Company, who are the guys who own Tokyo Disney Sea.
Right.
She will be a Wish class ship, but she will be sailing from Japan. They also have, and she's just been delayed, the Disney Adventure, which is sailing from Singapore. She is owned by Disney, but she's sailing round trips from Singapore. She only goes out to sea, but she's doing round trips from Singapore. So a great choice if you maybe want to try Asia, that you can maybe look at doing the Adventure. She is a beast. She will be the largest ship by occupancy, as in number of people who can fit on her, not in gross tonnage, but by occupancy sailing when she does launch. So that's that ship sailing. But they've also announced another class again. So once they finish building the technically 5th Wish class, there's going to be a whole new class of 3 ships coming on board, which are going to be between the 2. So they're going to be a little bit bigger than the Wonder of the Magic, but a little bit smaller than the Dream and the Fantasy as well. So she's going to be a nice mid-sized ship, which I think is great. I think for those people who want to get on a kind of slightly smaller ship, more intimate experience, this new Meridian class, as she's codenamed at the moment, will be launching. So by 2032, 2031, Disney will have 13 ships sailing on the oceans type of thing. So they do have plans to bring more ships to Europe, ideally, in the near future. But year-round sailings from the Caribbean, 2 private islands in the Caribbean as well. So obviously, if you want to do a short sailing or a long sailing in the Caribbean, year-round. Alaska in the summer they do. They've got sailings out of Galveston now in Texas. In Europe, they do one ship at the moment sailing the Mediterranean at the start of the season from around about May time until about July when she comes to the UK. And then she does a number of short sailings. So the big feature for us in the UK are the short sailings from Southampton. But then she also does a couple of Norwegian Fjords sailings, Northern Europe sailings. And it depends on the season. She has been known to do a British Isles cruise as well.
Right. So lots to think about.
Loads of options, definitely.
Right.
And and it's exciting. It's an exciting time to be involved in Disney Cruise Line.
Oh, I need to go on now, don't I? Right, we've done well over an hour, so we better wind it up, haven't we? We've just been yabbing Disney.
So, guys, I know that's been probably longer than usual, but there's no surprise that a podcast called Magically Cruising, when we actually get on a Disney cruise ship, could talk about Disney Cruise Line a lot. But there's so much more that I could tell you as well about. I do have some information on my website. My big task for the next couple of months is to get a lot more of, what I've learned from this sailing, but also now I've got a lot more content to get that on the website. But if anyone is interested in learning more about sailing with Disney Cruise Line, I would definitely love to help you. You can find me online anywhere under magical-traveler.com, or on my social media, where I'm currently sharing all my stories from my time on board, is Magical TRVLR as well. And then, Sarah, if the guys want to hunt down any of your travel guides, where's the best place they can find them?
So you can find them over at Mini Travellers. And while we haven't got any Disney, we've got bits of Disney on Cruising with Kids, but I think really you'd be looking at cruise ports. Check out Kieran for the Disney and us for the cruise ports, so you can see what to do while you're exploring.
Other than that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.
Bye.